I think Brandon has given us the names to the last two Dawnshards. There's not a lot to tell you about the Dawnshards considering we don't know a lot about them. We know that there's 4 of them and they predated the Shattering of Adel Nauseam. They are extremely dangerous to the point where you don't want 2 of them in the room at the same time. We know of 3 wielders so far, and we know at one point the dragons had a Dawnshard they were hiding. We only know the names of 2 of the 4 Dawnshards right now, Change and Exist. And this might sound a little unhinged, but I think Brandon has planted the seeds that they could be Unity and Truth. First of all, Brandon has been kind of weird about writing Unity with a capital U. And when asked, he's never given a straightforward answer why Dalinar said, "I am Unity" with a capital U. There's just too much weirdness in the Stormlight Archive around the word Unity for it not to mean something. Truth is also weird. There's a bit of weirdness, in my opinion, in including that word in the title, The Knights of Wind and Truth. But the word truth really caught my attention during the reread I'm doing right now of Shadows of Self. It mentions that there's a section in the Words of Founding where Harmony is looking for truth, and truth is spelled with a capital T. And for whatever reason, this part of the Words of Founding is written in verse, which seems like it should be important. But considering this is in section 80 of the Words of Founding, we don't know when Harmony stopped writing. Brandon has said that one of the Dawnshards isn't like the others, and I think that would be truth. It also makes sense for this to be the Dawnshard that the dragons are in charge of, considering they're all about the pursuit of knowledge. I think Elantris might also give us some clues. It's important to keep in mind that Brandon loves linguistics. For example, we know what several characters' names mean in Stormlight Archive, and those all foreshadow the end of Wind and Truth. We also know that the Shards Dominion and Devotion created the language on Cell. Explaining this further is going to give something away in Wind and Truth. Now, obviously, Brandon didn't have the entire Cosmere figured out when he wrote Elantris, but when you look at the Aeons he gives us, they line up a lot with the Shards. And there are some Aeons in the same family as some other Shards that have recently been revealed. There are some that are very similar to Exist, and we know what the Aeon for Change is. And all of these relate back to early editions of Elantris. And do you know what we also have Aeons named for? Unity and Truth. And although Brandon's time is booked up, he has said we are getting Elantris sequels. So then why is Elantris more of a priority than Warbreaker? And I think that's because Unity is on Cell. Now you need to know that Brandon pretty much has anything to do with Dawnshards, and we probably won't get any answers about this till he writes the Dragonsteel trilogy, which is like a decade out at least. But I think we really need to be looking at why these words are being capitalized, especially when Shards are talking about them. But I'm calling it now, Unity is on Cell and the dragons have truth.